Hi everyone, welcome back to another edition of the Fargo Force Show. I'm your host, Trevor Peterson. Joining us this week is Force forward Mikey Eyssimont from Littleton, Colorado. Mikey, your third season with the Force. You played 4 games with them 2 seasons ago. Last year, played all 58 games. This season, 17 games so far. You played all 17. 7 goals, first on the team, 5 assists, and your 12 points is also second on the team. Plus, you have the highest plus or minus on the team this year. So, just tell me a little bit about kind of the biggest difference for you between last year and now this year with the Force.
Last season, coming in as a rookie, it's a hard league to get used to, and but once you get used to it, you can start to make some plays, get some confidence and stuff like that. Summer helped me out a bit, and got a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, and so it's the game's getting a little bit easier, but it's still a tough league.
We mentioned some of your stats and your numbers. How excited or how good do you feel about how you've done so far? You've been fairly pleased about what you kind of expected?
So far, I'm fairly pleased. Not satisfied though. I want the points to start leading to some more wins and stuff like that. And obviously, we had a little bit of a skid not too long ago, so they need to start converting into wins.
Now you've committed to play hockey at St. Cloud State for your future, but the decision. Tell me real quick about the decision to return to the Force for your second full season, third overall.
I'm really happy about it. Really good team this year, very offensive. Everyone can make plays, everyone can score goals, and we're a dangerous team to play against, so I'm really glad I stuck around for another year.
All right. Well, we'll have more on Mikey in a bit, but first, the Force played 4 games in the past 2 weeks, going 2-1-1. We'll start off with the 2-game homestand against the Western Conference leaders, the Sioux City Musketeers. The first game was Friday, November 14th at Shields Arena. Sioux City led 1-0 after 1. It was 3-0 Musketeers in the second when the Force finally get on the board in the power play. Brody Stevens camps in front and flips in the backhand. Worth another look there. That's 3-1. The Force were down, though. 4 minutes later, though, the great one-arm pass by Justin Beaudry, and it goes right to our guest today, who scores to make it 3-2. Tell me about this one, Mikey.
That one, it was I was pretty late in the shift. I was ready to get off, but got a good bounce from Beaudry and was able to put it in.
Sioux City then scored the next 2, though, to make it a 5-2 game when you struck again, this time on the power play, working in front of the net for the rebound, your second of the game and 4th goal in the last 4 games.
Yeah, it was a power play goal, and our power play wasn't clicking as well as it usually does that night, but we were able to get a quick one on that and put us back in the game, even though we didn't get the win.
You guys were down 5-3 at that point, but unfortunately the Force would not get any more, and the score ended up 6-3 to Sioux City. The 5th straight loss for the Force. The Musketeers outshot the Force 34-21. So 5 straight losses, but the Force would end that 5-game skid the following night against those same Musketeers. Let's take a look at that. Robbie Bedouin got the start in the net for the Force. In the first period, Sioux City with a scoring chance, but Bedouin makes a nice save, then gets a little help from Stevens to clear the puck there. Later in period 1, though, the Musketeers' Sam Kirker, he's going to slip one past Bedouin for a 1-0 Sioux City lead right there. Now, same period, this is a big play. Sioux City with a great scoring chance on a breakaway, but they hit the post. This could have given them a 2-0 lead in the first period, which had been pretty tough, but instead it's 1-0 after 1. And in the second period, the Force would come alive. Couple of nice passes here from Mike Babcock and Kyle Sylvester. Leads to the doorstep goal by C.J. Hayes. That tied the game at 1. That's worth another look as well. Pretty play there. C.J. right on the doorstep there. Same period now, the Force on the power play. Dennis Smirnov controls and then makes the great pass to Cole Bugson for the one-timer. Watch that. Goalie never had a chance on that one. 2-1 Force with the lead. We go to the third, tied at 2, and with 31 seconds left, the Force with a 3-on-2 rush and off great passing from Zach Jan and our guest today, Mr. Eyssimont. Stevens gives the Force the game-winning goal. 3-2 is the final as we take another look right there. Great goal. And the big monkey is off the back, beating the Force, or beating Sioux City 3-2, ending the 5-game losing streak and beating the top team in the Western Conference as well. Mikey, how big was that one just to bounce back and get that one?
It was huge. Sioux City's #1 right now in our standings in our conference, and it's always a boost to beat a good team like that. So we were really happy about that one.
And ending that 5-game losing streak, was that something you guys were kind of thinking about? Does that dwell, or does that kind of grow on you as it going, or do you try to just put that aside and try to just focus on the game at hand?
No, definitely we talk about it. We know we have to end the skid at some point, and we had a couple tough teams that we played against, Dubuque, Cedar Rapids, and so to get a win against a good team, it's definitely a great way to end a skid like that.
All right, so the Force end the skid. Then the next weekend, the Force would play 2 at the Chicago Steel. On Friday, November 21st, the Force would win that one 3-2 over the Chicago Steel. Cole Buxton with a game-winning power play goal, 9:24 of the third period. Stevens and Mason Morelli also scored for the Force. Baydoun had 37 saves. The Force were outshot in this game 39-18 and still won. Mikey, how rare is that when you're outshot by that much of a margin but still win?
It's definitely hard for Chicago to bounce back from that, even though they did. But it's not too common that a team gets outshot like that. But we had better chances, and we were able to capitalize on them, and that's why we're dangerous.
And the next night, the Force would play Chicago again, and this was a gut wrencher if you would ever have one. The Force led 4-1 in the second period. Chicago tied the game at 4 with just 15 seconds left in regulation, and then the Steel won it in overtime. 5-4 your final there. Not exactly the way you want to end that trip to Chicago, Mikey. How tough is it on a bus ride back from the Windy City after losing one like that? Do you feel like, you know what, we had it right in our hand, up 3 goals?
It's not a fun 11-hour bus ride back after a tough loss like that, because it's a game we should have won. It's a game going into the third period. We're ready to. We didn't come out hard enough, and it can't happen.
In hockey, when you get up, say 3 goals, I mean, do you guys feel like, you know, if you have a 3-goal lead, that should almost be automatic? Or in hockey, do you ever feel like that? Is it maybe a 4 or 5-goal lead that you feel comfortable in? How do you feel about a 3-goal lead in hockey?
It's a pretty safe lead, I'd say, going into the third period. But you know, that they always say that 2-goal lead's the worst lead in hockey, and you know, they get 1 goal and they have all the momentum, and if they get another, then it's tough for a team after being up by 2 or 3 and they tie it up. It's tough for them to come back from that.
So the Force finished the 4 games with a 2-1-1 record, as we said. Let's take a look at the standings. And after the 2-1-1 couple of weeks, the Force will sit at right in the middle of the Western Conference UHL standings. 8-7-2 for 18 points. Sioux City leading the way with 13 wins, only team in double-digit wins thus far in the Western Conference. Tri-City and Des Moines sit in second and third, with the Force in 4th position. Lincoln and Waterloo bringing up the bottom in the division. How do you feel right now, Mikey, of being kind of in the middle there? You got it hanging tough right now, but above 500 as well still.
Yeah, definitely happy that we're holding the playoff spot as much as that. It's so far, playoffs are so far away, but all the wins now, it's just going to make it easier for us come March when I think we'll be the best at our peak, and that's when a team needs to start playing their best.
Now tell me a little bit about, we talked about this is your 2nd full year with the Force, 3rd overall. Tell me a little bit about your strengths. What do you feel like some of the best things that you bring to the ice for the Force are?
I think threading passes, power play, shooting. I try to set up plays and find guys in the slot, and I think I'm good at finding guys and threading the pass. Also try to score some clutch goals here and there.
What aspects of your game do you still want to improve? What are you really looking to think that, you know what, I can get a lot better in this area?
I think it'll come with getting bigger and stronger, and working out more. Start playing the body a little bit more, being more physical in the D zone, being more responsible and accountable in the D zone.
How about leadership-wise? You're one of the few guys that were returning from the Force this year. Do you take an active role in that leadership, or is it something that you kind of like to lead by example? How do you look at that as one of the few returning guys this year?
As a leader, I like to do it more on the ice, and try to lead by example on the ice. You know, working hard, trying to rally the guys, you know, with good plays, good shifts and stuff like that.
We're a quarter of the way through the USHL season here, just over a quarter of the way. What have you learned about this team so far this year? What do you know? What have you learned about the Force?
We're never out of the game. No matter what the score is, we're not gonna sit back and accept the fact that we're down and just lose the game. We've came back for a few games, and I've learned we can win low-scoring games, and I think our team, we can win high-scoring games too with the offensive talent we have.
What's the biggest thing, in your opinion, that this team needs to improve on right now?
Right now, we need to work on our neutral zone. Our neutral zone forecheck. We have some holes in there, and it allows teams to break through our neutral zone pretty easily and get some odd man rushes or just some in zone time. You
talked about scoring goals, and we know that last year that was one of the struggles of this team. Where has this team this year made the biggest strides in what area?
I'd say overall just rallying back third periods. we weren't a third period team last year until March when I guess we won a few, but this year we're just we never give up, and we're a lot harder working than last year, and got a little more of a better mental game too.
Now you've been with head coach John Marks for parts of 3 years now. What is give fans out there watching this video, give them an insight of what is Coach Marks kind of like? He's
really intense. He hates to lose more than he loves to win. He absolutely hates to lose. He really gets the guys going in between periods, and it's really good to have him in there because he'll yell at you, he'll get on your case, but it's just because he wants the best for you and for the team.
Do you have any interesting or funny stories, maybe some rituals or habits that the coach does repeatedly?
Yeah, before games, he'll come in the locker room. He won't say much before the game, but he'll come in the locker room after warm-ups and walk around the locker room clapping, and everyone's just kind of watching him. He's like, "How's the pulse, boys? We pulsing in here?" And no one knows how to answer sometimes, but we're like, "It's good. It's pretty good, I guess." So, but that's what he likes to do before games: walk around the locker room, get us pumped up.
What do you now? We mentioned that you're heading to St. Cloud State here. You're committed to St. Cloud State. What are your goals in hockey? I mean, what do you want to accomplish in hockey?
I want to win championships. It'd be awesome to win a Clark Cup this year. I want to win some NCHC titles at St. Cloud, and hopefully play in the NHL someday. Be an NHL player.
And outside, if the hockey thing, once that's done, what do you want to do? What do you kind of have your eyes on? Maybe pursuing as a career one day.
I want to own my own business someday. I think nice. I'm going to go into business at St. Cloud. I think. Okay. So we'll see. I haven't really thought too much about it. Well,
you've been pretty good in the business of scoring goals here so far this year. So hope that continues. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Force here. Now the Force play 5 straight home games beginning Wednesday, November 26th versus Sioux Falls. That's a Thanksgiving Eve game, and you don't want to miss it because all reserve seats are just $10 for that game. Saturday, November 29th versus Sioux City, tops in the Western Conference. You guys just split with them, so that'll be a good one. Then Thursday and Friday, December 4th and 5th, you host Waterloo, who is the last team in the Western Conference. And then Friday, December 12th versus Sioux City. They just happen to be the best overall team in the entire USHL with a 15-2 record. So you definitely have your work cut out. Some tough opponents on the upcoming schedule, Mikey.
Definitely. We're gonna be suing Sioux City a lot. Who's obviously a really good team, and then we're going to be seeing Sioux Falls, who's really physical, and so it'll be interesting to see how we start reacting to the physicality because we haven't played too many physical teams, and then obviously we have Cedar Rapids, who they're always tough to play against, really offensive, really fast-moving, fast-paced team. So we'll have to see how that goes. I'm feeling good about it though. All
right. Well, best of luck in these upcoming games. Thanks for joining us today.
Nice
job.
Yeah, thanks.
And as always, you can always get Force tickets at FargoForce.com. That'll do it for this week's edition of the Fargo Force Show. Thanks for joining us, everybody.